Hello friends, welcome back to my channel MEO exam. So friends, in this video we will see the latest amendments which were adopted by the MSc 102, which was held from 4th of November to 11th of November 2020. So basically this will not only cover the latest amendments but also cover the discussion about all the things. Basically the discussion contains all about Solas and the code which comes under Solar. So let's begin with the video. So the first thing which was discussed was about the uh, COVID-19 crew change. So this MSc 102 session ensure safe ship crew change and travel during COVID-19 pandemic. Now other thing was new safe mooring requirements were adopted. So the requirement so basically this requires the appropriate and safe to use design of mooring arrangements and introduce a maintenance and inspection regime as well as proper documentation, and this amendment will is expected to enter on 1st January 2024. The second amendment is to the part B1, B2 and B4 of Solar chapter 2 part 1, which is related to watertight integrity requirements, and this amendment is about to or expected to enter on 1st Jan 2024. Now third is the safety of ships which are carrying industrial persons. For this the MSc has finalized the draft for the IP code, that is the international code for safety of ships carrying industrial persons, and have also draft a new chapter to SOLAS, that is chapter 15 for all types of cargo ships. Now fourth point is in preventing accidents with lifting appliances and winches. So the draft for the amendment is approved. So basically the aim is to prevent accidents related to such equipments which causes harm to operators and damage to the ship's cargo and shoreway structures, and as well and causes harm to the marine environment. Now the fifth is the this amendment is adopted to be 1/2 table of HTCW code. So this table basically consists of list of certificates or documents or evidence required under HTCW convention. So this amendment basically updates the list of all the certificates or documents evidence described in the convention which authorize the holders to serve in certain capacity, perform certain duties, functions, or be assigned such responsibilities on board ship. So basically, this amendment is uh, about the all the certificates and the documents which are required as per the HTCW convention. And for future adoption for HTCW is that the definition of high voltage is to be included in HTCW convention under regulation 1/1, and again for the future adoption for the inclusion of the capacity of electro-technical officer in the definition of the operation level. So these two are for the future, and this is to be adopted. That is the list of certificates and documents which come which comes under HTCW convention are to be updated. Then the eighth one is about the IS code, that is the intact stability code. So the main thing is that an advanced computer technology and intensive research has been developed for comprehensive safety assessment of the ship dynamics in wave. The interim guidelines, basically which were amended, addresses the vulnerability criteria, direct stability failure assessment, and operational measures, and contain performance-based criteria for assessing 5 dynamic stability failure modes in waves, which includes a dead ship condition, excessive acceleration, uh, pure loss of stability, parametric rolling, and self-reading or broaching. So these 5 mode of failures are included under the guidelines, which addresses vulnerability criteria, direct stability failure assessment, and operational measurements, and certain performance-based criteria. Then they have discussed about the safety of the ships which are using ethyl alcohol as a fuel. So basically, these guidelines include the provisions for the arrangement, installations, control, and monitoring of the machineries, equipments, and systems using methyl and ethyl alcohol as a fuel to minimize risk to the ship, its crew, environment, and having regard to the nature of the fuel involved. So main objective is to reduce the greenhouse gases from the ship, or basically the ships which are using these fuel to reduce greenhouse gases. So basically this amendment will develop the guidelines for the safe use of these fuels. Then the amendment to IGF code, that is the code of safety for the ships using gas or the other low flash point fuels, which is related to fuel containment system, fire safety, welding of the metallic materials, and non-destructive testing. Then to the IGC code, which is related to welding procedure test for cargo tanks and process pressure vessels. And then to the IMDG code, which is related to segregation requirements for the alcoholates, then segregation related to liquid organic substances, then a classification and transport of carbon following incidents involving the spontaneous ignition of charcoal, then a classification of UN portable tanks for multi-mode transport, and provisions of labels. So these are the amendments which are done under IMDG code, then IGC code, and IGF code. Then the MSC recognized the Indian Regional Navigational Satellite System as a component of worldwide radio navigation system. Then it also adopted performance standards for the shipborne Japanese quasi-zenith satellite system receiver equipments. So performance standards were established or adopted. Then the approved guidelines for the acceptance of alternate metallic material for cryogenic services in ships carrying liquefied gases in bulk, and ships which are using gas or the other low flash point fuels. So basically guidelines are adopted for the alternate metallic material which are um, uh, having cryogenic services. The cryogenic services means the which are having services below sub-zero temperatures. Then approved, having noted satisfied results of the fatigue test. Basically revised interim guidelines on the application of high magnesium austenitic steel for cryogenic services. Then approved amendment to the CSS code, that is code of safe practices for the cargo storage and securing, which is related to weather dependent lashing, heavy cargo items, and semi standardized cargo such as vehicles on ro ships. So basically this is related to weather dependent lashings. Then this MSC approved the revised guidelines for the preparation of cargo securing manual. Basically, these guidelines are for securing arrangement for the transport of road vehicles on the ro-ro ships. Then, uh, then about the safety net, which is an integral part of GMDSS, and this provides an international automatic direct printing satellite-based service for the a promulgation of safety maritime safety information, navigational and meteorological warning, metrographic forecast, search and rescue related information, and other urgent safety related messages to the ships. So basically, this safety net manual is revised and it reflects, among other things, which contains the updates related to GMDSS services provided by the Inmarsat. Then approved amendment to section 3 of unified interpretations of provisions which are related to the doors in watertight bulkheads of the passengers and the cargo ships. Then endorsed subject to concurrent decision of MEPC 75, which is revised carriage requirement for the methyl acrylate and methyl metaacrylate. That is, it has adopted the guidelines for using correct carriage requirements when transporting these cargoes in order to avoid potential source of heat that could initiate a polymerizing reaction in the cargo. Then approved revised guidelines for the design and approved of fixed water-based firefighting systems for the RoRo space and special category space. And then this revised guidelines also clarifies the minimum requirements of the water discharge density and the area covered for the deck having certain free height. Then now we'll see the amendments for uh, the draft amendments which will be adopted in the future. Okay, so first the chapter 9 of FSS code. The draft amendment relates to the fault isolation requirement for the individual identifiable fire detector system which are installed. Okay, so fault isolation requirement for the individual identifiable fire detectors which are installed. This is the draft amendment in chapter 9 of FSS code which will be adopted in the future. Then next, which is the again the draft amendment and will be adopted in the future, is comes under Solas as well as under LSA code, that aims at removing the applicability of the requirement to launch free fall live hold to test their strength with the ship making an headway speed of 5 knots in the calm water on cargo ships of 20,000 GT and above. Now the next is the revised standardized life saving appliances evaluation and test report forms. So basically this test evaluation and test report forms are standardized. Now again new draft amendment on the SOLAS regulation, and this will be adopted in the future, is on the water level detectors on the multi-hold cargo ships other than bulk carriers and tankers. Then again the draft amendment, and that will be adopted in future, on the requirements of the watertight doors on the cargo ships which are contained in the MARPOL Annex 1 and 1988 Load Line Protocol, IBC code and IGC code. Then Again, the draft amendment which will be adopted in future is on enhanced survey program code, which is related to thickness measurement at first renewable survey of the double oil double hull oil tankers. So friends, these were the discussions and the amendments which are adopted and which will be adopted in the future, which are discussed under MSc 102 session. So thank you friends, hope you have enjoyed the video or learned something from the video. This is friends important because mostly surveys will ask what this MSc 102 session. So you have to tell not all the points but the points which you could remember and which you think are easy. So try to learn few points which you think are easy. Until then, take care, have fun.